Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Designer's Corner brought to you by Ashtoware. My name is Chadwick Becker. I'm with Applied Research Associates. And in today's video, we're going to look at how to create a new workspace and customize the workspace user interface for a specific set of users within my tenant. Um, Workspaces are a way to configure workflows within Pavement ME Design, and you can combine workspaces with effective library management to really hone in the workflow that your designers at your agency will go through when they're creating a design. So we'll jump right in here. We're going to go to tenant management. I've already signed in. We're going to go to you do need to be a tenant administrator to access the tenant management navigation menu item. So if you don't see that, it's because you're not a tenant administrator. You can contact your tenant administrator to get access or have them go through this process. So we're going to click here on tenant management. We'll select my tenant is the PMed test tenant. You'll select your tenant. We'll click on that, and that's going to take us straight to the workspaces page. So the next thing that we want to do here is click on the add new button to create a new workspace. It's going to define this new user interface configuration and workflow. We're going to call our new workspace District 9. And that'll be for our District 9 engineers. So there's our new workspace. It's been created. If you click the edit pen, you can change the name of the workspace. You can click this edit pen to add a description. You can set it as the default workspace. We're going to go ahead and do that. And you can also set it as active by default or not. You can see the number of users that are associated with the workspace, what unit system the workspace is going to generate designs in by default. Ours is going to be US customary, and whether or not you want to generate structural response files. And then you can also delete the workspace as long as it's not active or the system workspace, and you can make a copy of it. So we're going to go into the workspace District 9. And the first thing that we want to do here is edit the user associations for our workspace. So we need to add both ourselves and we're going to add our District 9 engineer who's going to be going for whom we are creating this workflow. So I'll click add user association. I'm going to add my area account and we're going to add our friend here, Vickis van der Merwe. And then we'll hit close. And that's it. So now these two users are associated with the workspace. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to edit the user interface configuration. So we're going to click this button right here. And we can see that this screen is going to look very similar to the design editor component. And that's on purpose. We want users to be able to navigate through here, get to the different design strategies, and be able to modify the different properties within those design strategies, both their visibility and whether or not they're editable, as well as their position on each of the various components within the system. So we're going to go to new design. We're going to go to design type. We're going to select first overlay rehabilitation. And then for pavement type, we're just going to do AC over AC. And if we go to structure, we can see some things immediately changed right here in general information. That also changed, what's available on the structure page. So we can see we've got our 3 different pills here, and we have the different properties that are associated with this flexible layer. I click on edit, and let's drop in a base, nice crushed gravel. And then we'll also put in a subgrade. And then we'll hit done editing. I'm going to click on the base, and we can see that's changing. The values of these properties actually are not relevant. You can change them here to whatever you like. The system's not going to care because it's not going to use those values anywhere. These are not library values. This is purely the user interface workflow. And so if we wanted to turn off the coefficient of lateral earth pressure because we don't use that, or we don't want our District 9 engineers to use that, we can change the visibility of that and just turn it off. We're also going to go back up to our flexible layer. We're going to change Poisson's ratio. We don't want them to change that. So we're going to turn off the editability of Poisson's ratio. And then we're going to go ahead and we want some of the properties to be, done in a certain order or more prominent. So we might say, well, we don't want them to even see the AC thermal properties, and we want the mechanical properties to come before mixture volumetrics. And while we're in mixture volumetrics, we want them to see Poisson's ratio before they see anything else. So we're going to drag that up here to the top. Then we're going to go ahead and save our changes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go create a design. The first thing to note, though, is we're not actually in the District 9 workspace. So I'm going to go to selected workspace first. And I'm going to change it to first to, I'm going to go from my test workspace to District 9. And I'm going to set that as my default workspace. I'm going to set it as my current session workspace. So now we've associated our user ID and Lucas's user ID with District 9, and we've now set that workspace as our current workspace, as well as our default workspace. So I'm going to go back to Designs, and I'm going to create a new design here by pressing the Create New Design button, and we'll just create Test 1, and we won't use a library for this, and we'll hit Create. Okay, so let's go in and take a peek at Test 1's data. So we're going to go to the Design Editor by clicking on the pen. And we're going to do first overlay rehabilitation and AC over AC for the design type and pavement type. Now we're going to go take a look at the structure. So the first thing we notice is that the mechanical properties are now the first tab, just like we set up in the UI configuration settings. And if I go to mixture volumetrics, we can see Poisson's ratios right there at the top. I can no longer edit this property in any way because it was turned off in our workspace. Go back to, I forget what the other thing we changed was. We moved, I guess we just moved mechanical properties around. Oh, we changed the base. So let me grab a base here, throw that in, done editing, and then we'll select the base. And immediately we can see under unbound, we don't see the coefficient of lateral earth pressure anymore. It's gone. So these are just ways that you can manage the UI within Pavement ME Design. It's specific to this workspace. So if I go back to my selected workspace here, and I just go to back to my test workspace, and then go back in and edit the exact same design, go into structure, we can see things are back to the standard out of the box layout with mixture volumetrics being first. We do have access to be able to change Poisson's ratio, and we can see the coefficient of lateral earth pressure. So again, the UI configuration tool is just a way for you to set up different workflows for your different users, either in different geographical areas, or if they have different work processes that need to go through. It's going to allow you to set up your design workflow process and customize it exactly the way that you would like to. So that's pretty much the workspace user interface configuration component in a nutshell. When you combine that with libraries, you're able to pull in libraries that are specific to the District 9 workspace. You have both the workflow and the data that's all customized just for District 9. It really cuts down on the amount of time that it would take for your District 9 engineers to work on a design, because they're only working with the data that's pertinent to them, and they're only using the workflow that you have set up specifically for them. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The component is a powerful utility that allows your tenant administrators to customize those workflows like we talked about. And it's a really powerful tool for just managing the overall user experience and ensuring that the designs are managed in accordance with your agency's policies and data. And so this concludes today's video, and we'll see you next time on the Designer's Corner.